I am totally illiterate.
Philosophy is easy. Anyone could do it.
Totally illiterate.
Hello, zoo citizens. Today I wanted to talk about one of Deleuze's very favorite things Spinoza ever said. Certainly one of the most decisive arguments in Book One of the Ethics. And it bears on the status of qualitative versus quantitative predicates in definition. So I call this the Five Guys argument. I think of it whenever I walk by Five Guys. It's one of several-ish demonstrations in Book One of the Ethics that there can only be one substance. There can only be one God. There are two halves to this video. The first half is kind of quick Spinoza 101 on substance. Doesn't mean it's easy, but just got to go quick so the second part makes sense. And then the second part will be dealing with the status of quantity in essence. So I stop the nonsense of Davis for politely having demand of you liking, commenting, subscribing, donating, billing address, credit card number. Thank you. Welcome. In part one of the ethics, of course, we have the one substance, which is God, and part of the definition of this substance is that it cannot have its cause in anything other than itself. So it turns out, following from that, its existence has to be necessitated by its essence. It has to be sort of rigged, sort of guaranteed to exist, necessarily by definition, essentially. Why is this so? Well, if the substance didn't have its existence prescribed in its essence, it could exist or not exist depending on something outside of it, something outside of its essence, because if its existence is not decided in its essence, it would be necessarily decided elsewhere. It would not be substance, because whether God exists or not cannot be decided external to God, external to substance. So for Spinoza, God necessarily exists, and this follows from the self-caused nature of substance. That's part one. Okay, part two is when numbers comes in, and I say Five Guys, but it's any number. There's no number of substances that can exist except one. Quantitative definitions or quantitative essences cannot here be real. So this is what Deleuze gets really excited about. So why? An essence of God can only describe the essence of one God. If there's more than one, the essence is duplicated. So if you're describing the essence of the one God and you have that occurring multiple times, something external to that essence, i.e. the duplication or the reason why there's 2 gods or 10 gods or -5 gods, that cannot be in the essence that you are duplicating. So since you can't write the number in the essence, if you say in the essence of God there is 2 gods, that quantitative dimension has to be external to God. Can't have things external to God defining whether God exists or not. You have to have everything in the essence, and that's how substance works. So if there are 2 or 10 or 6 gods, the essence of God cannot have caused this. So then we're not talking about God, we're not talking about substance. So if we're talking about substance, there's just one God. Okay? It's a really disarmingly simple, but I think exciting argument.